My name is Mark Yazinchek. I'm a teaching artist with Center for Arts Inspired Learning. I work with ceramic clay, I work with mosaic, and I paint. But I loved working with modeling clay as a kid, and today we're gonna find out a little bit about modeling clay and how to work with it. And then we're gonna do a quick intro to claymation. If you've seen the movie Wallace and Gromit or Box Trolls, you've seen animation films that are made with clay and claymation. It's gotten a lot more technical now, but it all began with clay and modeling clay like this. The clay that we're working with is I purchased at Dollar Tree. So it's relatively inexpensive, and your hands are your best tools, but if you have like a chopstick or a bamboo skewer, a popsicle stick, and at Dollar Tree they also have a stylus. And during the summer when it's warm, the clay is really soft and pliable, and in the winter it tends to get a lot harder, and it warms up in your hand. This clay never dries out. Even if you bake it in an oven, it'll just melt. It won't. I found out that the hard way. So I'm going to start by making a cane of clay with a spiral, kind of like the snake here. And we're going to do a blending exercise to start with. And this also gets the clay conditioned. If you're working in the wintertime and it's a little harder to work with, rolling it out on a table or rolling it in your hands is a good way to get it softer and more workable. So there's about 12 colors in the pack, and I'm gonna take 2 of them, a turquoise blue and an apple green color, and I'm gonna make 2 carrot sticks, 2 coils, but they're going to be coils that are a little narrower at one end. They're pointy like carrots. And then I'm going to take a little bit of pink and roll out a little coil too that is the same length as those first 2. And then I'm going to roll them together. When you're rolling out on the table, try to give yourself space and use the palms of your hands. If you just go like this back and forth, you'll end up with an oval piece of clay. But if you roll it like this, it gives you a nice round piece of clay. So there is the cane, and all I'm doing is twisting it slowly in my hand, and it creates a really nice kind of candy cane effect, a spiral effect. If you keep blending the clay and twisting it and turning it, you'll eventually blend the 2 colors. So you could make colors that aren't in the palette here by mixing colors together. So I'm going to just lay that there for a while. And now I'm going to do one more candy cane. I'm going to use some purple and red. And it's always nice to include like a third contrasting color. So I'm gonna go with some yellow too. You'll make a beautiful candy cane if you make all 3 colors the same thickness, the same amount of, starting with the same amount of clay, but you can get some interesting combinations and effects with the clay if you use different amounts of the colors. So this one, the yellow is kind of disappearing into it, but that's okay. I'm gonna twist this one around, and instead of doing a spiral with this one, I'm going to kind of just blend it. And it tends to look more like snake skin, which is why I like to use it for the snake. It has an interesting, more natural combination of colors. A lot like the monarch butterfly caterpillars, except this one is green and red and yellow rather than yellow, green, and white. So there's 2 similar techniques, but one is just folded, and you can get some interesting results. And if you wanted to blend the colors again, to mix a new color, you would just keep folding it and twisting it and blending it. So this one I'm going to make into a little caterpillar, since we were talking about caterpillars. So I'm going to fold it one more time, and this time I'm going to add a little bit of pink to it. I'm gonna roll it back into like a thicker piece. Kind of do that with your fingertips. You can use wire, you could use feathers and stick them into the clay to create characters. I'm just working with clay today, so I'm gonna make little legs. And notice, even though I have the tools, I tend just to use my hands. There's a little caterpillar. When they use this in claymation with animation, sometimes they build an armature in the animal. Sometimes there is wire that helps you move it. It helps it hold its shape. I'm going to make an owl. I'm going to use this really nice black clay. And the owl's going to have red wings. So I'm going to make it a little flat on the bottom so that it will stand up. You can use a rolling pin, but sometimes the clay sticks to rolling pins, and I find that using my fingers and pinching out the clay is a lot quicker. So the owl's going to have 2 red wings. And I'm going to add a little bit of texture to the clay by rolling the popsicle stick into the clay to create kind of a feathery pattern. All right, so the owl's eyes are very big, but I kind of like them. And they're a little lopsided, but I don't mind that. I'm going to use a little bit of orange and make a little beak. So for the claymation, I'm going to use some of these characters, the Claymation program. It's called Stop Motion. It's both available for both PC and Apple and Android. You can have it on your laptop, or you can use it on your phone or an old tablet. The camera to take a picture every 5 seconds, and I've set that up so that you can hear a little timer. So it took a picture. When you play back this series of pictures, it's going to look like a video because it's playing more than 1 frame a second. And so here what you're doing is you're stretching time out, and then you're compressing it when you play it back. So I'm using an old pizza box that's all white. You can also just take a towel or a long piece of paper and just drape it. So you're creating a little sound stage, a little stage to film on. So let's start easy. We're gonna make the inchworm inch across the screen. And so that's the picture. So I want to move my hands out when that snapping sound happens. So if you have any questions, you can stop into your local library. There's lots of books and videos. Also, again, I'm a teacher for Center for Arts Inspired Learning, and we do a lot of programs like this. Thank you for watching.